Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Learn with Jason. Today on the show, we have Abel Mengistu. Abel, thank you so much for hanging out with us today. How you doing?
Thanks, Jason. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm super excited because we're doing something that I don't really know anything about, which is really exciting to me. But before we talk about that, I want to talk about you a little bit. So for anybody who's not familiar with you and your work, do you want to give us a little bit of a background?
Yeah. So I'm Abel. I am the founder and CEO of FlutterFlow. My co-founder and I started building this last year after we were working on a different startup where we were building a mobile app, and then we kind of realized, well, that like technology around mobile app development has gotten so much better, but it still felt slow. The process of like building and launching an app. And that kind of inspired us to work on FlutterFlow. Yeah, that's a little bit about me. So my background before that, I was a software engineer at Google, where I worked on primarily actually machine learning and data science stuff. So not
Nice.
mobile. And that's kind of like the surprising part is, if you asked me 5 years ago that I'd be doing this, I'd say no. That's very unlikely. But as we started working on it, we kind of saw why, how frustrating it was.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of the background.
Cool. Yeah. So this is in that kind of roundabout brings us to what we're talking about, which is today we're going to be dealing with FlutterFlow, and so FlutterFlow, if I can repeat this back, it's a way to build mobile apps using Flutter and Firebase that doesn't require you to actually like write the code. It's kind of a visual builder.
That's exactly right.
Nice. Okay, so the vast majority of what we do on this show is for web content. So as a little bit of a primer, could you kind of talk about what Flutter is? Like, what is it for? What do you build with it? Why would you reach for it as a developer?
Yeah, Flutter is it's Google's open source UI toolkit. And what it lets you do is you write your application in Dart. They use the Dart language.
Okay.
And it allows you this, like the special thing about Flutter is it allows you to write it once and then compile it and actually compile it to all these different platforms.
Okay.
So, you can write Flutter code. And then when you want to run it on iOS, it will actually compile it to that architecture. And it uses underneath the layers, it uses the same graphics engine that Chrome uses. It's called Skia. And so you get very performant apps. A lot of the times if you've looked at kind of going back to like the early days, almost wrapping web views inside of applications, you get performance issues because it's not running. It has to talk to the native layer, from JavaScript, and it's going to be slower. And so the Flutter gives you an advantage over that because it compiles to machine code.
Nice.
And so that's what when we started building an app after kind of we left Google. Sorry, froze up a little bit. Can you?
No, you're back. You're back. Well, cool. So when you left Google.
Yeah, and we looked at what's kind of the best thing out there to build a cross-platform mobile app. And it was really between React Native and Flutter.
Okay.
And I think what happens mostly is because React is so popular, React Native is just easier to pick up for people who already know React. We didn't do React before. So we were trying to see what's the best thing we can use if you're going to start from scratch. This is back in 2019.
Okay.
And then so when we looked at the fact that it compiles beyond mobile too, that's another advantage, right? You can write FlutterFlow itself is built in Flutter actually. So it actually compiles and you can build a web app with it or desktop app also. So
nice. So it's not just mobile.
To be able to have one place.
Yeah. Okay.
Correct.
So as a developer, then I can, if I start using this Flutter approach, I can target web and native. And so does that mean that I can also ship to like an Apple device and an Android device?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
I mean, for web, I'd say they primarily target web apps,
Right.
So if you're doing a website, it wouldn't make sense to use Flutter.
Sure. Yeah.
It's just going to add like too much complexity. But if you're building a complicated, something like FlutterFlow or a web app, it makes it it's comparable, and I think still React has a leg up there for sure. It's just been around for longer, but
sure,
the ability to just have that same code base run everywhere is just pretty huge.
Yeah, that definitely seems like kind of we're seeing a few angles of this. Like Flutter is doing it, and then like Kotlin is trying to do the same thing. And I've seen a couple other, React Native is kind of a long running attempt to do this. So it's very interesting to see this kind of like how do we do the one code base deploy everywhere approach. Yeah. And so I'm really excited to see kind of how this works. And then so the other side of this is Firebase. And so we've talked a little bit about Firebase on the show. Firebase does a bunch of things. Primarily, I think most people know it as a database. And specifically, I think a lot of people get excited about the real-time aspects of Firebase as a database. What kind of attracted you to Firebase in the FlutterFlow context?
Yeah, so the primary, I think, so we use Firebase for FlutterFlow itself. So one of the things, when we were deciding to build FlutterFlow, we thought, what would be like the fastest way to build an app for developers? And we thought that was Flutter plus Firebase. If you wanted to build something very quickly and get it in front of users. And that's one thing we learned actually from our last startup, is one thing we did wrong the first time around was we built too much. We didn't move as fast as we needed to. When you're going to start, you need being able to iterate quickly and test your ideas with the market is important. And so we thought if we wanted to enable people to do that, what is the best way to do it? And we thought it was Flutter and Firebase. And so we actually built FlutterFlow with Flutter and Firebase itself.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to make it easy to and the reason Firebase makes it really easy is because you don't have all of the complexity of, you don't have to set up clusters or manage it. You don't have to go through a lot of process to really just worry about your infrastructure. You just think at the data layer. So I want authentication. I want my, collections to look like this. A user's collection that has this kind of data. It doesn't even have a schema, so it doesn't even enforce it, which could be a negative. It's just so easy that you can just start writing to the database and start reading.
Right. Yeah, and I mean we can have a debate about like the structured versus unstructured data later. But I agree with you that for getting something out the door, like being able to just set it up and go, that's a soapbox that I've been standing on for a long time. Is how do we get out of the way of developers so that they're able to just have an idea and then build that idea instead of having to build 8 layers of foundational stuff so that they can start on the idea. And so it sounds like we're pretty philosophically aligned there. Yeah, and
we do use schema. Like internally ourselves, we use schema, and also in FlutterFlow we enforce a schema through, because it makes it just easier to work with, connecting it to the UI, etc. So we like the Firebase lets you do it in a schemaless fashion because it's faster, but we enforce a schema on top of it.
Yeah, for sure. Very, very cool. All right. Well, I feel like I could ask you a bunch of questions, but it's probably easier rather than trying to talk about it in the abstract to just like look at this thing, right? So let's switch over to pair programming mode. And what we'll do here is let's go ahead and start by giving a shout out to our captioning. We've got Rachel here today from White Code Captioning. She is taking everything we say and writing it down so that the show is more accessible, which I appreciate so very much. And that is made possible through the support of our sponsors, Netlify, Fauna, Auth0, and Hasura, all of whom are making this show more accessible to more people. While you're clicking on things on the internet, make sure you go and check out Abel's Twitter. You can get the latest on FlutterFlow. And what else are people going to see on your Twitter? Is it all tech all the time? Or I see a basketball in here. What else are we going to see?
Yeah, it's mostly tech and FlutterFlow these days. Yeah,
for sure.
But stay tuned. I might start switching it up.
Yeah. All right. So here's the FlutterFlow homepage, and as we were saying, FlutterFlow is built on top of Flutter and Firebase. So here's a bunch of links. These will all be available in the show notes as well. So with that, I think, Abel, today, because we're using FlutterFlow, you were going to take over and do a screen share here. So let me give you control over that. And you should be able now to share your screen.
All right, I'm sharing.
All right.
Can you see my screen?
We can see it.
Cool. Yeah, so this is the FlutterFlow. I've already created a project. I wanted to do a quick demo of kind of building a simple app that I had in mind. I'll say I haven't built this yet. So, as demos go, it's going to be interesting to see how.
Yeah, that's my favorite part about this show is that we just kind of make stuff up as we go. So I also just realized that I broke the, oh no, how do I get the speaker, side-by-side speaker? Give me just a second to get you back in the right place on the screen because I broke it. We don't usually, this is a new format for us to do this size of a video. Or to do you sharing. So I'm just trying to figure out what the right size is so that you are actually on the screen. There you are. Perfect. Okay. Live debugging. All right, we're ready. All right, so we're looking at you. We're looking at FlutterFlow. And what did you have in mind? And so this is the homepage here, right? So if I log into, so I go to FlutterFlow, I create an account, and this is the first thing that I'll see is this kind of empty project.
Yeah, so if you just create an account and you log in, you'd probably see the screen, which has all the projects that you have. And let's create a project. You can go to your account settings and so on here. We've kept it pretty simple. We focused on how can we let people build apps. So that's like the main thing. You can get started immediately. And this is kind of what you get. I have basically a blank project here.
Yeah.
To kind of make it easy, I've already created a Firebase project because I didn't want to kind of go through Firebase setup. It's relatively quick, but I didn't want to spend time doing that. So, but it's, I already have my Firebase created here. Doesn't have a Firestore, so we just create that quickly. Just test mode. Because FlutterFlow is tightly integrated with Firebase. Mm-hmm. If you want to do authentication or connect the data, that's kind of we allow API access too, but it's really mainly focused on the Flutter Firebase ecosystem. So this will just create the Firestore table here. And the thing I wanted to do, I wanted to build this out just kind of for fun for myself for some time. I thought I might as well get started in this show, and it's just a way to find courts, so basketball courts where games might be happening.
Oh, nice! You
can see what people are saying about the games, like how frequently they can happen. I'm a basketball fan. I like to play, and so, but sometimes it's hard to find out exactly, when games are happening. Which courts are nice. And so on. So I thought it could be fun to do something that lets you add those and be able to search them up. So
absolutely. Also, welcome Ben and Ben and friends. Welcome to the stream. And Eco, thank you so much for the sub. We are working on a FlutterFlow app today. So we're actually looking at Abel's screen right now. Abel's the co-founder CEO, and we're going to build, as he just said, an app using Flutter and Firebase visually through FlutterFlow to find basketball courts to go play a game. So I'm pumped about this. This is going to be great.
Yeah, cool. So let me get started. One thing I'll do is I'll just set up the Firebase here. I've already created the project and added my API keys here. Mm-hmm. So the configuration key and the Android iOS configuration, which is necessary to be able to communicate with Firebase. Let's get started here. Just enable email sign-in. I've also created, let's enable email sign-in. That's probably enough just for the demo. Mm-hmm. Cool. All right, so first thing I'll do is just start with a login page and a home page, and then we'll kind of figure out how that looks. Maybe we'll just do a simple map.
Okay.
And so I'm thinking, login, so you can associate data with users. And then at the homepage, ideally, you have a map where you can see different courts that have been added.
Okay.
Cross that works.
Yeah.
We're on the bleeding edge here. And then a page for adding data to Firestore directly. So I think these 3 pages should be pretty easy to do.
So this is ambitious, right? So just to kind of recap this, as you're setting that page up, we're looking at building an app that's connected to a database. It's going to have user login. It's going to have user uploaded data, and it's going to have map like GeoViz, which is that is ambitious as hell for a 90-minute show. So I'm super excited to see how productive this makes us. Also, thank you, Kokosin, for the sub. Thank you so much. Make sure you abuse that boop emote now that you got it. Oh, I added a new emote. Everybody, look in your available emotes.
Let me actually. So I didn't talk through this. Let me actually just talk through this login. What I did here, so I can't see the screen. If there are any questions or something I should address.
I'll relay questions as they come in. Right now, everybody's just playing with the new emote.
Yeah, when you said emote, I was thinking, man, I wish I could see this new emote.
I worked with a company called N1 Studios and made a little. It's an emote that I call Compooper. It's a little sad computer with smoke coming out of it.
All right, so I'm on this create page dialog. Lets me create a page. I'm going to use a template.
Oh, this is smooth. Okay.
There we have it. So now, it just hit create, and all it did is basically gave you the starter kind of components, and all this is modifiable. Right? Mm-hmm. I suppose I didn't kind of walk through like the UI of FlutterFlow, but we have like a different page elements here that you can add to the UI. And we have properties on the right side, and there's some run, debug, etc. up there, or like issues. And there's different settings for the app. There's Algolia integration, GitHub if you want to directly push to GitHub, Google Maps. I've already created, and I said I created the Firebase project. I've added like my API keys.
Got it. Okay.
So yeah, and these are private, but if you can't fully see it, and also it's a test project, so I'm going to delete it. But people shouldn't share API keys here. The Firebase one is safe. It's the same thing that's bundled with apps.
Right. The Firebase is like a public, like client side code, but the Google Maps one should be private.
Yeah, the Google Maps one, and same with Algolia. I haven't added an API key. I thought maybe that would be too. I thought it could be also fun to try to do an Algolia geolocation search.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I love the
under promise over deliver, but I over promise now. You'll see. You'll see how that.
I mean, I'm honestly, anytime that anybody's doing anything with like map visualizations and stuff, I know it's getting easier, especially with like the Google Maps SDKs and like other companies like Mapbox are doing a good job. But man, it just feels so ambitious to be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get like information and like place it in the world on a map visually. It's that just sounds like so much to do in a short time. But also, I mean, you just built a login page in one click, so I'm feeling pretty optimistic here.
So what I'll do here is I'll get rid of the safe area, and the safe area is for, kind of the space between.
Oh, I got you.
Like the notch, etc. So, but it looks a bit nicer without that. I'll get rid of that. I'll also get rid of this Google sign and Facebook sign. We haven't set that up.
Okay.
But this will actually, it's already pre-configured. So when you use this template, if you notice here on action, sign up already has an action on it. That's an authentication. Use this create account. Use this email field. Use an auth. Provider should be email, because you could have like Google.
Gotcha.
Sign in. And so uses that for the email. So it's already kind of pre-configured, and you can just roll with this directly. Right? You don't have to.
That's
modify
slick.
it, obviously change the images and so on. Yeah. So login page is basically done.
Mm-hmm.
So that should work. Forgot password is not linked to anything, but we can also set up a forgot password flow, which is pretty easy. All right, and so on the home, now before we actually do the home page, I'm going to go to the Firestore section and show you kind of how this works. Let me actually delete this table because it's already pre-configured. I want to show you like how you do that. So we already have authentication enabled here to do that login sign in. We've enabled authentication. Here you can choose what the login page is going to be and what the home page. So what the difference here is,
oh, nice.
if you haven't logged in, it takes you to this login page.
Right.
If the user is already logged in, it will automatically move to the home page.
Got it.
So that's basically the only setting we have now. And there's like tutorials here of like how to set up Google sign in, Apple sign in, etc. And that's basically it here in the authentication tab. Now that we have authentication enabled, we want to have the actual user database, right? Or collection.
Right.
So we'll create one. We'll just call it users. Now it doesn't have any data, but you don't have to manually populate that. You can come in here and say, I want you to create a user record every time someone signs in.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And so what that does is it will actually automatically populate all the Firebase fields for you, because this comes free with Firestore authentication.
Gotcha.
So if you do
okay.
A Google sign in will have the photo URL, the display name, email, and will automatically create the UID. So this is nice. It will just automatically set that up for you. Phone number will be populated if you have phone sign in enabled. So it basically kind of generates all of that for you. And I think at this point, we can even just pause and quickly look at, we can go to view code.
Sure. And I have a question from the chat while you're switching over to that. Prabhar asks, is it possible to use FlutterFlow to build like an Amazon style e-commerce app? So one integration that we're working on now, we still don't have, is payments. Okay.
So for that reason, that payments is going to be a critical part of e-commerce, right? So it won't work without. So you could build everything except for the payments part, and until we have that feature, it'd be blocked. But
it's on your roadmap.
It's on our roadmap, and should be relatively recent. I would say under 2 months for sure.
Nice, nice. Public date commitments on a string.
That's why I went 2 months. Yeah.
No, I got you. That's great.
Yeah, we're already starting to work on it. So I will say the view code is not. So we recently just made some change. Like I said, we were on the bleeding edge, and view code is not actually rendering the code here.
Okay.
So I apologize about that. We won't be able to show. I believe download code would work. Download it later on and open it up in Visual Studio Code.
Sure.
Actually, look at the whole code.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So we have login set up. We have the users collection. Now, the only other thing we need is actually a collection for the courts. And let's see, what do we need here? A name field.
Yeah.
Just the name of the court. You can select the type here. We make it a string, and also have the location. And we have a lat long type here.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah.
We can add a created app field just to show that.
Sure. And then do we need to tie it to a user?
Created app. Well, maybe we'll have like a small this. Great. Yes, we need a user. And that the way you tie that up is do a record reference. So you'd say, I want reference type users. So this will be basically a reference that points to, and the way Firebase works, all of the documents have a reference, which is just like a path to the document. And this would end up being a path to the user document that added it. And maybe we'll add a small description.
Oh yeah, nice.
Should be a string. And that should be.
So there's a question. What's the field type? How is that different from the data type?
I think it's just us. Oh, right. So field type is whether it's a single element versus a list.
Okay.
So, imagine having comments here.
Right.
You can potentially have a comments collection, which will have the user who added the comment, of being a reference to the user, and then maybe the actual text of the comment as a string. So if you had a comments collection here on each chord, maybe people can come in and add a comment. And the way you do that would be comment. It's a record reference of comments, but it's a list.
Gotcha.
So this would mean, and so users can come in and like add comments. And so when they, on an add comment button, you could essentially say, add to this current chord's comment field.
Perfect. Yeah, that makes sense. And thank you for the cheers for the bits, Jimena, and thank you, Bobby Tables, for the sub. 17 months. That is a long time. Thanks for sticking with me. Looks like we got a sad little hype train at 0% at level 2 right now too.
Cool. So I think this should be enough. I'll add an image URL field. So maybe you can just like grab an image from. So in this demo, I wanted to be able to like run it maybe on the web.
Yeah.
So we have the ability to run on the web. We'll compile it and put it on an iframe so you can actually play with it in the web, but which doesn't have an image picker when it's running in web mode. So I'll just do image URL. Maybe you can set that up. Okay, so that's a lot of fields here already. So I think we're set here. So we have the home page. I'll leave that blank for now.
Thank you, Bobby Tables. Yeah, okay, so we're adding a chord. Sorry, we just got a bunch of gift subs. Thank you all. Thank you for that. And make sure you use all those emotes that you just got access to. Welcome to the Boop crew. Okay, so now we've got a login screen, we've got a home screen, and you just added an add court screen.
Yes.
Okay.
And so let's make basically don't need to change the background color. I'll bar. So
you just drag and drop that. Okay, I know you said Visual Builder, but like in my head, the dots didn't connect until you just did that. So you just drag and drop things over to have that all work.
Correct. Yeah. So I think you drag and drop an image and start modifying its size.
That's super
use
cool.
Unsplash to pick a random image every time. And so in this case, I have an app bar. Maybe I'll change this color. Maybe go like a little bit darker here, and I can make that the background color of the scaffold also. Recently used, and now we can have text here. That would be the title. And so one thing you have with this app settings, you have your theme where you can select the project colors. You can add multiple colors here. So you can just set it up once. Probably should, would have been nice to kind of have a nice color thing. I'm not a designer, so it's not going to look amazing at the end here. But so if you already have from either your designer or you're a designer and you know what kind of colors you want to use, you set it up once and be able to easily have access to it here. So let's name this add court title 1. We'll just make it white color.
Thesis 500 is asking, Flutter still uses Dart under the hood, and you said earlier that it does. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah, Flutter it's a framework built that you write code in Dart. So it's kind of like React using JavaScript, and it's Flutter using Dart.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so you've got a like the page set up here. You've got a title in place. And now I assume we're about to see something that's going to blow my mind.
Well, so let's see. We need to set up. This is the page where you just add a chord, right?
Right.
So be able to set the name. So we'll do a text field here. So actually, before I add this, let me get a column. So you want to lay out your page, and these are like things like columns, rows. These are Flutter concepts. Also, kind of pretty intuitive, I think, but it's definitely, until you kind of use them, the first time you use it might not lay out exactly the way you want it, because you can't just drag and move things around.
Oh, I got you.
You have to maybe, for example, in this column, you can set the alignment to center, and now the row is centered within the column.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
And this is nice because it allows you to do responsive views. By taking this kind of layout approach. So like if I change different screen sizes, And things
Right.
should kind of still look nice.
Yeah.
So I'll add a column, give it padding here on the left and right. So there's a little bit of space. And here we're just going to start adding text fields.
Okay.
Let me add a text field. This will be the name field. Okay, let me style this. So text field, you have some options here on the right. So you can set the password, whether it's a password field or not, we'll just kind of hide it. You can have like a clear field icon. Let's make this just text. It's going to be the name. The hint text, you can say like course name, ... You can't see the text here. Let me make the color white so you can see what's happening. So there's like, that's the hint text. And I'll also give it the label text here. And maybe like, I think there's an underline option down here. The underline key.
Oh, I think it needs a border color because the colors are unset. Yeah. Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's see. There you go. Cool. So we have the court name here, and I can just copy that now and paste it in the column. Actually, let me give it a little bit of padding in the bottom so it spaces things out. And I'll just paste it in a few times. So maybe we have the court name. Did the padding? Okay, I copied it before I added padding. Okay,
Oh, I got you. Okay.
Cool. So, and then maybe this could be like description.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Saturdays, or something like that.
Okay. Then we need our location, right?
Like, yeah. Okay. So location is going to be.
Oh, we need a different thing for
URL.
Yeah.
And maybe do image URL. Yeah, location is going to be a different button. So we just added this last night. So we'll see how it goes. There we have a place picker button.
Okay.
Basically, so when you click this, it brings up a dialog that lets you choose. It looks like search a location using Google Maps. The Places API.
Yeah.
So I've already Google Maps configured here with the API keys. So what it should do is you just kind of add this button here. You can like still customize the color and so on.
Yeah.
Right, you can modify it, but it's already pre-configured with an action, so you can't add an action on it.
Got it.
But now you can use the value that the user has selected here.
Mm-hmm.
Is the idea. So we'll leave that as is. So we have the location picker. I think that's it, right? Like
we need like a save button, right?
Correct. Yeah. So let's make this description multi-line. So you can like maybe add multiple lines here, and let's add a save button. So we're going to do that using a floating action button. That's just like a confirm down here, maybe. We can also just add. So maybe we can do that. And so this is just a floating action button. Right now it's empty. So it says add here. We'll add an icon button inside of it.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Okay. So we have, and there's also a widget tree view, which shows you how your app is laid out here.
Gotcha.
All of the different components in. So some of our users prefer working in the widget tree here. So I'll do like a check mark here. So we have an icon search.
Nice.
Here, and let's make the color white. Okay.
Okay, cool.
So now we just need to give it an action. So icon button, we need to give it an action. I'm going to actions here. I have a shortcut, Command A, takes me to the actions. And here is the interesting part. So when it's tapped, it should do a backend call. That's how we group that action and create a record, right? That's what. So we want to create a court.
Nice.
So you say create record and choose which collection you want to create that record in. So let's choose courts. And now you can set the different fields in this collection. Let's see, name, location, created at, user. Perfect.
Okay, so, all right, so I'm just let me just recap. So first, let me say welcome to the New Relic crew. Hello, Aisha. Thank you so much for the raid. It's good to see you. And second, you just hooked up a database to this form by like clicking 3 buttons. And I'm still kind of reeling. That happened so fast. So you just clicked on the action button, and for the action, you chose create record. And when you did that, it automatically pulled up your available Firebase collections, and you chose courts.
Yeah.
and then you just hit the plus field button, and it auto-filled all of the fields in your courts collection.
And so yeah, pre-filled. So we haven't attached them to anything in the UI yet.
It's so good.
It's ready to go.
Yeah, it's so good. Yeah. I love it. Okay, so then the next step is we actually have to connect these to, like, name needs to connect to court name.
Right. And so the reason you see these issues show up is because these things are not associated. So it already tells you, like, look, location is not set, created as not set, etc. Start reporting issues. But as we said, these fields should go away. So like the name field, and you can, hard code things in the values here,
right?
If you want, or you can set it from. So we'll do from variable, and it's a widget state. And widgets are it's the Flutter term for basically anything. So an app itself is a widget, and then the scaffold is a widget within this. So here in this widget tree, all of these different pieces are widgets.
Right.
So that's kind of why we use that terminology. Oops. So let's go back here, and the action on this button, that's where we were. So the name should come from a variable, widget state, and it's the court name. And for example, this place picker value, we do some type checking for you. And this is where I said
nice
enforcement.
Yeah, that's great.
The place picker is a lat long. You can't select that. So attach that to the court name. The location should be attached to that place picker. And
I like that it shows the other ones are incompatible, because who would ever write a lat long by hand? Like, you just don't do that.
Yeah. How did people build maps back in the day?
I'm just imagining, like, when you see maps from the 16th century or whatever, and it's a semi-accurate map, I'm just thinking, like, who drove a boat around the coastline and was like, I'm going to draw this perfectly.
Yeah. I can't even draw a circle perfectly.
Yeah, for real, man. I couldn't draw you an accurate map from here to, like, the grocery store a 10-minute walk away from me without getting it completely wrong. And they're like, oh no, this is more or less to scale.
Yeah. So we also have, like, some global, like right now, current timestamp is only global property, but you can also associate the current timestamp with created app. The user, that should be, you can say authenticated users reference. So
nice. Okay.
Whoever clicked this button comes up as the user who created this court. Description, we'll set that up to widget state description. Finally, image URL, same way. I'll just select image URL here.
So what you just did in 3 minutes is easily an hour of hand coding, which is, because it's not just like, oh, we've got this field name, but it's, okay, we have to get the reference to the database, and then we have to map each field to the thing, and then we got to pull the user reference out of our authentication object, and we've got to map that to a field value, and all the type checking and coercion there. So we just saved, just in mapping inputs to the record, at least an hour.
Yeah, we definitely we saved a lot of time, and that's why we're very excited about this. We've actually internally started using it because it's not meant, we didn't build this for web, but we've already started using it in some cases because it's just much quicker to be able to do this. And then we copy the code into our editor, and then we just work from there. That has been our flow even for FlutterFlow itself. Some of these components we've started building inside of FlutterFlow. Yeah, and I think
that's it, right? We did it.
Yep. And now you need to navigate back. So this creates the record, but then it should automatically pop back to the homepage, right, or wherever this came from. So you have, I guess you can let the user manually go back to, but that's a nice touch here.
Okay.
And I think so. Ad court should be ready now, unless we have a bug in.
I'm so ready to see this happen.
I think we set it up correctly.
Yeah, let's do it. So so now I see this run button up here. Can you just, like, click the button and go?
So if I do run, it will start building. Correct.
It'll start building.
The issue with that is now it will start. Yeah, it will start. Actually, I should just click run. So open a new page, and it's going to send the request to our server, which initiates a build. Mm-hmm. But it won't be very exciting So it'll take 2 to 4 minutes to build, and we'll do this later also.
Okay.
Now the issue is
there's nowhere to like show the chords or anything like that.
The authentication page. There's login page, and then goes straight to the home page, which is empty. So there's basically.
That's right. We haven't actually
so
like
we don't have a way of getting
app.
to the ad page. And right.
Okay.
Exactly. So one thing we can do is here we can add a floating action button. That's just an add button. Move to an icon button. Oops, I think I zoomed in. I'll do icon button here, and this will take us to the ad port page.
Got it.
Okay, let's make it. Okay, I'll go to action, on top, go to ad port, and allows back if you just kind of cancel. So at least now if we run it again, it'll be a little bit better. At least you can go to ad port, and we should see it come up in Firestore here.
Yeah. Man, this is so dang cool. Okay.
And maybe we can hit run here, and while it builds, we'll continue building from this point. So I'll let this build.
Yeah.
And then we'll add the map widget here. So let's find the Google map. Just add it there. There we go. Full screen because I've removed the safe area. So we have a Google map added. We'll also, just to have it there, I won't actually hook it up, but I'll also add a text. Let me take a step back.
Okay.
Currently, we have the home page, which has the floating action button and the map. Now, you can't overlay anything on this map because some items can take a children, like this floating action button can have like something inside it, or like a column could take multiple children. But a map is that's the final state. So if you want to stack things on top of a map, you need to wrap it in a widget, and you can wrap it in a stack widget. Now you can see the map is under the stack, and you can put more, now you can add more things on the stack. So if I want to add a text field, like for my search, I can just add it here, and now it overlays.
Got it. Okay.
Because of the stack here. And what I'll do is I can set the alignment here. I'll actually wrap it I'll wrap the widget itself in a container. So I can style it a bit better. So I can make the width here, maybe make the height like 50. And I can align it a little bit so that it looks like a search button there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this now is aligned at negative 0.8, and this means basically vertically -1 is the top of the container, the parent container.
Oh, so I got you.
Container inside of the stack. So we'll put it at negative 0.8 versus the top, and 1 would be the bottom. So you can kind of scale fractionally. So if you change the screen size, that 0.8 is not actually fixed. So it helps you build responsive layout by using alignment. Okay, let's give it some padding. Say 20 on each side. And maybe 25.
Nice.
And we can. Or did I give? I think I gave padding to the text field. I just quickly did undo.
Okay.
Let's give the padding to the container so it doesn't cover the map fully.
You gotcha.
And then you can make it white, give it a little bit of reduced opacity so you can see through it a little bit.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I gotcha.
Padding for the actual text field. And let's go a little fancy and give it a border radius here. Why not?
Slick.
There. Just a little bit. There's a small touches there.
Yeah.
Our designer would make fun of me for trying to make it look nice. You can. I love our designer. Very talented person, but when it comes to design myself, I'm not great.
I mean, you're doing it. This looks. What I love about this is you're saying you're not a designer, but you're building something that looks like a native app. Like if I opened this, I wouldn't think, oh, there was no design put into this. It looks great right out of the box. Also, welcome to Alex Trost and all the Raiders. What's up, y'all? Hey, Ben. Good to see you. Thanks for coming over. We're building with FlutterFlow right now. We've spent outside of the jibber jabber, I think we've spent like a solid 25 minutes here. And we've built an app that's hooked up to Firebase. It's got authentication. You can create an account with your email and then log in. And then we built a form where you can create a basketball court and save it to our Firebase database. And now we're building a map display for it. So as you can see, we're really just like setting the bar low today, like not ambitious at all. But yeah, this is blowing my mind a little bit. So now you've got the search in place. We've got the so I think and you said you were going to do this as kind of a placeholder. So then the next thing, the part that I'm really excited to see is how are you pulling the courts into the map?
Cool. Yep, that was exactly going to be my next step. So here, the way the map works, there's just the map set here.
Okay.
There's markers, and this is what I plan to use. You can set the markers to come from Firestore. That's the
oh my goodness.
The initial location. I think I believe we can set this to just the current user's location. Is that great? That was okay. Okay, so I think there's a way of setting this up as the current user. We recently added this, so I'm not I don't remember how to do that, but we'll just set it to the default here.
Okay.
And num markers, you can basically say I want a single marker to show up on the map, or I want multiple markers.
Okay.
And this is just showing you a demo. Like that's actually not loading from
until
you run it. It won't, and then now, so we said multiple markers, and here, this is where like the magic happens. You can just say, I'm gonna do a query here.
Okay.
So what I'll do is on the map, there's the way you do, the way you get data from backend. We've seen how to add data to Firestore. The way you query Firestore is through these like data icons here on a component. And so you can create a request here that says, give me, I believe I can say, give me query collection.
Okay.
Courts.
Right.
And this should just give me all the courts. Okay. Now I'm hesitating because I'm trying to see courts record. Courts records. And I think that's it. So type list of documents and I hit save here. And I believe that's it.
Okay.
So it knows courts record has, and my co-founder built this Google Map feature. So I don't know 100% how it works. So it's kind of magic for me too, as I'm using it. The course has, the way it knows it has location. So any record that has a location, you can associate with the map because it will just use that map's, the record's location to set the markers lat long, basically, right? So I've done a query on the map. I've said, give me all the courts. This is not filter. So like if we do Algolia search, then you need to do it differently. Like you need to do an Algolia search and get the records from there. But now we'll start simple, just do query all the courts.
Sure.
And then market documents, set it from the courts records. And you're done. This would be, at least, coding this manually would take some time, so that's kind of the setting part here. Yeah. And that's it.
Okay.
Now so it should be associated. So
can we go add some courts and see them show up now? Like, is that's it? We built the whole app.
Yeah. Ooh, this is being really slow. So what I'll do is I should download the code so I can bring it up in Visual Studio Code and run it in an emulator.
Yeah, let's do it.
I think we have, so we can, and then we will see on Firestore if that's actually, okay, recode was. Preparing download. I'm gonna check my Slack real quick. I wonder if Oh, there we go. I was starting to get worried.
It's the curse of the demo. Everything goes just like a little bit slower than you want it to.
Yeah, because the view code not showing, we recently deployed, and this not showing it already had gotten me worried. But it looks like we've downloaded and we're fine. So, and once we have the downloaded code, we can debug it if we need to. I'm comfortable if it's. But so it's a zip file, basically a Flutter package. And what I'll do is I'll just open this up in VS Code. My terminal is showing up here on the right, and no need to share that. I'll just do code. So I open it up in VS Code, and I'll move this over.
Okay.
For folks who can't see the screen. There we go. So this is, yes, I trust the authors. That's FlutterFlow. Cool. So this is the layout of a Flutter package. So basically, when the unzipped file contains these different directories here, you can see if there were any assets that would be in here. And this is all the code. Maybe I should have opened it up in Finder actually, just so I can show you what it looks like. So yeah, that's the generated. There's a readme to tell you, like, you need to run this stuff if you have a Firestore configured, etc., and you can kind of follow that. And these are all the different pages. So a lot of stuff is red here is because we haven't, in Flutter, you need to pull all the packages. And for us specifically, when we do Firestore connection, there's a schema that serializes to JSON and back, and that needs an extra command to build. Gotcha. So I'll run those commands now.
Can you give it a couple command pluses to make that just a bit bigger?
Yeah. So, the opposite way. There we go. How's that?
I think chat, give us a +1 if you need more, but otherwise we'll roll.
Cool. So this is the command.
They're asking for one more.
Okay, there we go. I can do one more.
Okay, so I think we're in good shape here. And so now we've got the code. We're in here.
So it's now just running the build commands. And in the meantime, let me open up. So this is the entry point to the app. As you can see, it has there's the Firebase user initially. And this is the part that navigates you to the home page versus login page based on whether you're logged in. And if you're logged in, it takes you to the home page. Otherwise, it takes you to the login page. And so one thing we tried, the thesis to FlutterFlow is we want to make it so that it's easy to do a lot of common things inside of FlutterFlow. But we still think code is the most expressive, right? So we don't want to limit the ability for someone to take over and add any modifications. But to be able to do that, you need to generate really clean, readable code. And we try to do that. So, we basically, the way we write code internally, we kind of templatize that and make it ready to ship. So this is how that works, the login flow. And the home page is where we have the search, like the text field. We never added an action on the floating action button, it looks like.
Oh, whoops.
Looks like the floating action button is not going to navigate here. Did we? Maybe I never. Oh, okay. The floating action button doesn't have an action, but the icon button has an action. So
yes.
And so when the icon button is pressed, navigator.push, so it actually pushed that court widget into the navigator. There's this is the kind of very standard UI code for Flutter. You have the scaffold, floating action button this is a widget, an icon, the colors, etc. It's all kind of in Dart. And hey, I'm on the live stream. That's Alex, my co-founder, just walked in.
Good, so we know who to ask questions if this map thing gives us any trouble.
Exactly. Yes. Cool. So yeah, got a little bit of a blooper moment just now. Cool. Yeah. So it looks like everything is set up. I don't see any errors. So I think we're ready to go. We can take a second and just look at what's happening here. You know how we had a query on the map, right?
Right.
To pull all the data in. So you can see where that's happening is where before this Google map was returned, we have the stream builder, which queries the course record and just you expect a list of course record.
Mm-hmm.
And when that data is ready, it will automatically load the map. And then for each course record, it gets, it maps it as a marker, and there's the location there. So it looks, when I'm looking at the code, it looks correct to me. So we'll try to run it now and see what happens. Let's select a device. I'll just use Pixel 3. I should really upgrade my emulator. I think that's
I'm gonna say this is like one thing that I'm liking about looking at this code, at this Dart and Flutter code, is it doesn't look too far removed from anything I've seen before. I think I can probably thank TypeScript for exposing us to the list court records. That type of annotation is familiar. So as a JavaScript developer looking at this, it looks different, but not so different that I can't figure out what's going on, and that's kind of a nice feeling. Looks like you froze a little bit on us. Oh, uh-oh. Oh dang, did we? Oh no. Okay, let's just hold on while Abel gets reconnected here. And while that's happening, I'm just gonna drop some links. Everybody go check out. Here we go with the please hold. Nicely done, everybody. I love that everybody did that in concert. That was excellent, excellent, excellent. Let's see if it's gonna play these back to back, because that's gonna be a lot if it does it. Is it gonna play 3 in a row? It's not. Oh, good. I was a little bit worried. Oh, no, it is. Dang it. We're just gonna have... yeah, so let's see. No. Checking to see right now he is attempting to reconnect. I have him in chat, don't have any video or audio. Yeah, please don't queue them though. I thought I'd set it up to not queue, and apparently I did not. That's what I get for not just using one of the off-the-shelf tools and building my own stuff. I do like my own stuff. Oh no. Nobody give Bobby Tables information. That's really what that's the take home from here. Dart Vader. Boo! I think I did rate limit, but I don't know what the limit on that is. Like if it's a 3-second rate limit or a 5-second rate limit. Let's see here. So now we have Abel is still out, but should get him back in a second, hopefully. And in the meantime, so let's just recap a little bit because of how freaking cool this is. So this visual builder let us, so Abel set up a Firebase app, but just set it up, like didn't create anything, just got the credentials, and then logged into FlutterFlow and added API keys for his Firebase app and for Google Maps. And from there, we drag and dropped the login, we drag and dropped the homepage, and we drag and dropped the add a record page, all of which we were able to just connect in a couple clicks to get us a full working app, like a 3-page app. And we built the whole dang thing in like 30 minutes or so. It was really, really fantastic how quickly we were able to get that done. And I think if we can get Abel back here, we're going to see it just work, where we'll be able to, open it in the emulator, log into the app, or we'll create an account, log in, add a court, and then we should see that court just pop up right on the map as we do it. And if we don't get Abel back, which I still don't see him yet, so fingers crossed, then we'll tweet about it or something. In the meantime, what's up, chat? How y'all doing? How's how was if you're in the US or otherwise had a long weekend, how was your long weekend? Mine was good. I played a game that is called, depending on what part of the United States you're from, it's either called Cornhole or Bags. And let me pull this up because it's, yeah. So it's a game like it's sort of like horseshoes. Like you've got a board. There's a hole in the middle, and then you throw beanbags from about 25 feet away and try to get a beanbag either on the board or in the hole. You get 1 point on the board, 3 in the hole, and it was super fun. Like we had a lot of fun. We my partner Marissa bought a official American Cornhole Association set of bags, which they're very serious. Let's see if we can get a. Haven't played until you've seen these. Oh, we got Abel back. What up? Okay.
Oh man, this is so frustrating. My Wi-Fi dropped and sorry about that.
No worries. We were talking about cornhole. let me link these to the chat, but let's go ahead and consider these. I think Bags is an East Coast name. I heard that's like what people in like Philly and Jersey and stuff call it as Bags. Wisconsin calls it Bags. But yeah, my family is in, I think Illinois is where my family comes from, and they're all Bags players. But yeah, if you would able, feel free to reshare. I'm just filling time at this point.
Oh, yeah, no problem. Sorry about that.
No worries.
Cool. I'm back here.
All right, here we go.
I was basically, my computer was being so slow, so I just killed the emulator also. So I'm just I've closed most of my Chrome tabs, and I need to get a machine with more RAM. Is really the
the eternal race of like, I have a thing that I want to do, and then they release an app that uses even more RAM.
The story. Yeah.
Okay, I saw the emulator for a second, then it flashed away. Oh no, is the emulator the problem? Oh wait, you're back?
This emulator, maybe now kind of stopped me after I started the emulator.
Okay.
But I can hear you.
So yeah, you're super choppy. So I have a feeling that the emulator is what's sabotaging us here. Wait, are you back? Okay, you're back, I think. Oh, I'm seeing Kurt in the chat is saying that he tried to use the emulator and it destroyed his setup. So it might just be that we can't use an emulator while streaming.
Instead, do this run mode thing.
Okay. Yeah, Eco makes a good point in the chat. If you want to send me the code, I can attempt to run it in my emulator.
Yeah, that's a great point. I've started. I stopped sharing. Let me continue sharing my screen. I've killed the emulator. Yeah, let me send you the file. I can send it. Do you want me to send it as a zip or?
Yeah, just if you just want to maybe email it to me, I can.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I'll email it to you. Let me just take this screen here. Yeah, and I've also started the build
okay.
on the web. So this.
So now we'll see a race between how quickly I can figure out an emulator and how quickly FlutterFlow can get the app built. I have a suspicion that FlutterFlow is going to win. Oh, what a thank you, Kurt, for the subs. Thank you for gifting everyone. Everyone who just got a gift sub, welcome to the Boop crew. Make sure you use the heck out of those new emotes that you've got. And I did, for anybody who's just joined, I did add a new one. We've got a little compooper friend. So welcome everyone. enjoy dropping those boops. Where? Let's see. I'm looking for an email. I don't see one yet.
Yeah, it should. Might be the. There's like a 30. Sometimes I think I have a setting on my Gmail to allow
Oh,
me
like
to
the
do
undo.
things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
I
it's
do
that.
love undo an email.
Yeah.
We did lose the bucket emote for that. But I felt like nobody was really using the bucket, which is why I pulled it out. You know, the bucket wasn't getting the screen time that I felt like it deserved. So we're gonna see if the Lilcum Pooper gets a little more. And let's see here. Still not seeing it.
I sent it to your Jason at.
Yep.
Huh? Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I've got open here.
Maybe. I don't know if Google Gmail puts me in spam automatically. Hopefully not.
It definitely shouldn't, but let me look. Let me look in my spam folder. Oh, yeah, it definitely got spammed. Let me
All right.
not spam. Okay.
Well, also, if you check out the screen, I think there's a small issue with the button here, but we have something here built. So the build actually finished.
Oh,
so
okay, perfect.
Sorry to say, Jason.
Yep.
Not your fault, but you
FlutterFlow wins.
I slowed down the email. So I'm just gonna create. It doesn't necessarily verify the email here, I think, but I'll use my FlutterFlow email here, and I'll try to use. I'll just create a password. Don't really need to, and I'll hit sign up, which will create an account. One thing I'll do is I'll actually go to Firestore here and authentication, and hopefully we see the user show up here when I sign up. Cool. So sign me up. So if I go to Firebase and refresh this page, I should see, sweet, there we go.
Cool,
so we have
okay.
My user ID, I have event fire. Also, the thing Firebase doesn't do for you automatically is it doesn't create a Firestore collection for you automatically. So you can see if you have the email, my UID created, time is all set up here.
Nice.
So users collection is set up properly. And we have this, it's actually not going to search anything, but we have a map you can interact with.
That's so cool that you can, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Bridgetown, all right, cool. I like that. Ooh, not good. So something broke here.
Okay.
And unfortunately, because it's in run mode, one thing that happens is so I can tell that there's some issue with the UI.
Okay.
Here, and maybe the zip file can actually help us kind of debug what's happening here.
Sure.
My guess is one of the components is configured incorrectly, and I can also have Visual Studio Code up here with courts, and we can try to debug it live. But so I'm getting the way Flutter, something's broken on the screen, it will still load like some just gray widget, and the navigation still works. That's why I can go back here. But there's something wrong with our add court page. And I suspect, we just added this button, so I suspect it's this. Of course, if you add a button without a location, it's not really going to make sense. But let's look at the code and see what's happening. I've sent you the zip file too if you want to kind of open it up. And
sure, yeah, let's peek in here. So let me get into my GitHub folder here. Actually, it's not in my GitHub folder. I'm going to go to downloads courts, I think it was. Okay, so if I look at these, I'm looking in the lib folder, and then there was add court. So we've got the add court widget, and
okay. I can't see your screen.
Oh yeah, I guess let me share with you.
Yeah, perfect. And this is how it typically works, right? So I'm glad you're back to this normal mode.
Okay, so now I gotta just put your video back in the right place. Good. There we go. All right, so now We should be looking at, yes. All right, we're all looking at the right thing. We don't have the never-ending loop. And I think we're in good shape here. So let's peek in here. We've got, we're up at the top. We've got the court widget. We're looking at a stateful widget. And if I start looking around, I'm going to find my app bar, background color, floating action button, and then let's get down here. Here's our safe area, column, padding, text form field. We've got another text form field, and then we should see one more, another text form field, and now we should see our Google input, place picker.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and just looking at the code, everything looks fine. So why don't we try to run it? So you need to open up readme.md.
Readme.md.
Yeah, and there's two commands there you have to run: the flutter pub get and the
okay.
build.
I don't think I have Flutter, so how do I?
So there's a Flutter getting started. Flutter should be pretty quick to set up.
Okay, so let's get started. Mac OS, system requirements, get the Flutter SDK.
Yeah, that's the main part, the Flutter SDK.
And is this will give me the command, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's see. I'll also try to debug here. I couldn't, by just looking at the code, I couldn't tell what's wrong. I'll do one more shot at bringing up my emulator.
Okay, so we're opening up Flutter. Almost.
Yeah, and I think steps 2 and 3.
There we
are.
All right, so this just opened over here, and wait, what do I do? I unzip. Oh, I just gotta like move this somewhere. Extract the file to the desired location.
Yeah,
so
if you leave it in downloads, it's probably fine.
Okay.
Depends on how organized. Yeah, for
I mean, how organized I am.
who you want to be? How organized do you want to be?
Yeah. All right. So let's do this. Let's add the Flutter tool to my path by doing export path equals path, and then nope, that's not right. So it's going to be like downloads Flutter bin, I think. Nope. Okay, so I screwed something up. Export path equals. Maybe I can't do. Let's go to downloads. Okay, so now let's try that again. Export, which I think I can just do it this way now. There it is. Okay, so now we should be able to run the command from the README, which means I run flutter pub get. Nope, got to move into the actual thing. Let's move into courts. Try again. Things are happening.
Nice.
Make that a little bit bigger. All right, so that worked, and now I'm going to Flutter again.
Do you happen to have an Android?
I think so. That's a great question.
I think in Visual Studio Code, you should be able to you do Command Shift P, and types inside of Visual Studio Code.
Okay, so
let you.
What's the?
Is there a select device there that's working? Select device.
Crap. No, I don't think I have it. No.
Okay, that's fine. I think you should be able to just do Flutter run after you've created your emulator. Also, it looks like it's starting to run. Like I'm trying to build it too. It hasn't brought down my machine so far. And this is kind of why. This is exactly why we're trying to do FlutterFlow. Is like that whole process of having the emulator and all the different emulators you might need and setting them up and all that stuff is.
Yeah, it's a lot. Although I will say this is more pleasant than like some of the other emulator setups that I've had to do. Because it's like, especially when you're working with compiled stuff and then you got to fake a different operating system, and not having to like run a dual boot of another operating system or something, and just being able to actually do an emulator like this.
I think it's actually trying to run it in Chrome. I think you want to Control C that and run it because it's built for mobile now. So I think you want to Control C that and make sure you have an emulator open. It will automatically select it if that's, I believe.
Is there a command for that, or like I'm worried that I don't have
like if you have if you do Flutter devices.
Flutter devices.
Have you opened the emulator? Yeah.
Well, I'm actually wondering if I haven't.
Okay.
Let's see if I have one.
Yeah.
I only have Chrome.
Okay, cool. Let me try sharing my screen. I have it up now, and it hasn't brought down the machine.
All right, let's see what happens.
I haven't actually debugged the issue yet, but at least it's there. It's on the login page. I haven't tried to sign in.
Okay.
And it's just connected to the service here and debug console. So I know it's there. I believe I had a very secure password here. Let me see if sign in works. Maybe I'll just enter what's happening.
Notifying ID.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, so signed in.
All right.
Cool. And I think the reason my Wi-Fi, like when it shares Wi-Fi with my, like,
it gets brutal. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's okay. There's Google Maps, and now I'm guessing when I put plus here. All right. So I think what happened is we just added this feature, the search places. And the run mode, we have to compile it in run mode to run in.
Don't you do it. Don't you do it.
It might be a little different. I'm not going to try to run it yet.
Okay. All right. So here we go. Here we go. It's, it bound up on us for a second, but it looks like it's working.
Promising here.
Yeah. Let's try it. Let's give it a shot.
Yeah. Let's say, so Palo Alto High School has some good games Saturdays, so I'll just do that. Oh, yeah, Saturdays at noon. Okay, being a little slow. Okay. I'm not gonna set an image URL.
Sure.
Yeah, let's just leave because it's not gonna show up anyway.
Okay.
Search places, sweet. High school. Ooh, this is moment of truth here. It's being slow. I'm not seeing any errors.
I'm honestly, I'm going to blame this on the fact that we're on a Zoom, screen sharing, streaming, and running an emulator. That's a lot. So I don't think this is going to come down to your tech as much as it's going to come down to the fact that we are really pushing the bandwidth limits here.
Yeah, I mean, I will say it's definitely an early product, like FlutterFlow itself. We're less than 9 months. We're about 9 months old now as a
Oh,
company.
dang.
So yeah, we definitely, we're moving fast and we're trying to improve. So
Absolutely.
our users have been pretty patient, is what I'd say, because we launch features as kind of quickly as possible, and then we try to build on them and improve them.
For sure.
And so I think, because I'm looking at a message here, error occurred. So I could probably, yeah.
So and that's from searching, or is that because we didn't get enough content in there?
So
is it like a 3-character search or something?
Yeah, so here, this is what's happening on response. So saying instance of places autocomplete response. Let's just actually just try to get some value here. Response.error message. So the nice thing about Flutter is that it just
hot reloads. That's nice.
Yeah, so if I search again, I should see. Let me try to search again. I should see a better message in terms of why it failed to search. Follow. Okay, let me just hot. I'm just going to hot restart. The hot reload didn't seem like, maybe it was already from a failed search in a bad state.
Oh, I got you, yeah.
Hot restart. I have to go to the add button again. And I'll go directly to search places.
Sure.
This out. There's a typo, but it's just still. Because this API part is not authorized to. All right, okay, so this is just a configuration error. It looks like. So this is, I think, hopefully, I know we're running a little low on time. It's going to be exciting, though, if we kind of.
We're going to get this working.
Yeah, so I'll go into Google Console. And if you can see my mouse, you can see, my computer is like on the brink of dying here, but it's fighting through. We'll go to Google Maps. Yeah, there we go. So let's make sure it's enabled. It's not authorized to use this API. Oh, we haven't enabled the Places API. The Places API.
Okay.
We need to make sure we enable that, I believe.
So this has always been, I think, my biggest sticking point with Google's APIs is that every API has a different name, and it's always kind of confusing to understand what buttons I'm supposed to click. And I always feel like I'm adding too much access. But this is okay. So once we've enabled this, theoretically speaking, you should just be able to type again, and it should work, right?
I believe so. Yeah, I mean that's my understanding.
All right, let's give it a shot. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, let's see what happens. I'm excited actually to see this. I haven't, this is the first time I'm running through this flow of using this widget. We actually built it yesterday.
I love it. Test in production.
Just full transparency here. All right, let's search for places. Okay. There we go. Nice.
All right. Oh, there's high school. I see it.
Selected that. All right. Okay. So this is a little bit of an overflow happened here. That's fine. Basically, what's happening is it uses the name of what you selected to show up here. And so if I actually go to, and we can actually fix it with hot reload here. If there's a selected place, it shows that. Otherwise, it says search places.
Right.
Maybe you can just say place selected or something.
Okay.
Just so that it doesn't overflow.
Sure.
There you go. So it shows you, instead of showing the name, we'll probably fix the overflow issue.
Gotcha.
Saturdays, noon. And of course, the marker, when you click it, nothing is going to happen for now. But when I hit OK, ideally, this will create a record. Nice. All right. Okay.
Got a record.
Let's go to the console here and refresh. So there should be a quartz. Nice. There's a quartz.
Nice.
There we go. The Saturdays at noon.
Dope.
And there's location here.
Okay.
This should map to Palo Alto High School. It's that long.
Got it.
And now if we go to, I have to manually, since we don't have the Algolia set up, I definitely overpromised. But we'll scroll up here, the US, shouldn't be hard.
Got it. Okay.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, look at it go. Oh my God. This is okay. So this is like, I've done map stuff before, and every time I've done it, I always leave like a little beat down by how many hoops I feel like I have to jump through. And so I feel like this is incredible that, you know, the biggest debugging we had to do was making sure that the right API was enabled. And we just built a whole, I mean, like, that's a whole ass app. We could ship this. It's, you know, it's maybe not the prettiest thing in the world. It's got, we could add more to it, but that does what we want. We can literally say, hey, I'm a user. I want to save a list of basketball courts. I want to see where they are. And it opens up and shows me courts. Like, that is so cool. And also just in the nick of time, because we just ran out of time here. So anything you wanted to show before we start doing the offload?
So maybe I'll just kind of quickly say, like, I'm not going to actually do anything, but one thing, you know, ideally what you want to do is when this is clicked, you know, maybe show something, right? So that's also very easy to do. I think on the map, you basically can say, I believe this is an action here on marker tap. And then you can, let's say you wanted to show a button. This is not going to work. I'll just say navigate to page. Let me quickly, I'm not going to actually build this page, but I'll show marker detail page. And you can do this as a component that shows up from the bottom as a bottom sheet. But if you create a marker detail page, it says market detail, but that's fine. And you can define a parameter here that's a quote, right? So when you click when you tap a record, you want it to load the details of, like, maybe comments or whatever people have added. And the way you do that would be on top, navigate to page, marker detail page, and you can pass in a parameter. The quote should be the marker record. And this is type checked, right? So it knows marker record is a typed quote because that's what you've associated here with marker documents. And so now basically you just need to go and, like, set up the view for what a quote looks like with the image and all that stuff. And it will just work. So in this emulator here, now when you tap this, it navigates you to a different page that shows you more details about the quote. So that's how you do that. Just wanted to show that. But thanks so much for bearing through this. We somehow made it work.
Oh, I mean, you know, like I said, if this is the biggest problem we got to overcome, like, dang, that is really good work that y'all are doing over there. So let me switch over here to show some links on the way out. So make sure that y'all go and check out Abel on Twitter. And let me actually find where I'm supposed to be putting this link. Here it is. This is the chat. There we go. Make sure you go and do that follow. We have been using FlutterFlow today. So if you are interested in doing some build once, deploy everywhere work visually, you can go and check out FlutterFlow today. And while you're looking at things on the internet, remember this episode, like all episodes, has been live captioned. We've had Rachel with us all day today from Whitecoat Captioning. Thank you for being here. And that is made possible by our sponsors, Netlify, Fauna, Auth0, and Hasura, all kicking in to make this show more accessible to more people. With that, make sure you go and check out our schedule. We've got some really, really exciting stuff coming up. We are now booked out into October, folks. It's going to be a great time. So later this week, we're going to learn Blitz.js. Next week, we're going to do a web performance audit with Tim Kadlik. Tim is one of the leading performance experts in the world. So that's going to be a whole lot of fun. We're going to learn how to build a CLI in Rust. We're going to do Jamstack and Strappy. We're going to do TypeScript serverless functions. We're going to do real time with Ably. I'm really excited about that one. We're going to learn about right to left support and so much more that hasn't been added yet. So make sure you go and check out that schedule. There's so much good stuff going on. You can add the Google Calendar link to make sure that you get updated for what's happening when and with links to watch. So y'all, thank you so much. Abel, thank you so much for hanging out today. I really appreciate you taking the time to teach us and show us FlutterFlow. It's been, wow, what did I just do? It has been an absolute blast and a pleasure to learn from you today.
Yeah, of course, my pleasure. It's been great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Well, with that, chat, stay tuned. We're going to go find somebody to raid. Abel, thank you again. We will see you next time.
Bye, y'all.